I have playlists, probably about 100 playlists that have genre, vibe attached to them.
Okay, so if I were to say, Maynard, give me one record from each of your three bands that is, you think is like, where the songs and the recording, because I'm big into this, that the songs and the recording quality, like the production, because I asked Joni Mitchell this question.
Okay.
I said, Joni, what is your best sounding?
As far as sonic, which
one where you feel like the songwriting and the sonics?
What did she say?
She said,
because Hissing of Summer Lawns, I feel like I kind of went deep into that one. Hejira is one of my favorite.
But Hejira was one. She mentioned Hejira and
Court
and Spark, yeah. Those two she mentioned. Court and Spark was her first one that she felt like she really got right, that the production and then Hejira, same thing. So if you said one record for each band, what would you say?
With Tool, I think it would be, Lateralis there's a balance to it. Yeah, there's some sonics attached to Anima. That's a very popular one of our albums. But I feel like Lateralis, there were some things happening with that were unexpected. Perfect Circle, I think part of the new album, the first half of the new album, I feel like was there. But overall, I would think that 13th Step is probably the one. Puscifer, I feel like Existential Reckoning is the one, because we kind of had found our way to this. It's an eccentric album. It's definitely a sonic landscape. It's a soundtrack more than it is an album. And I feel like for what Puscifer is, that kind of is a good intro into the eccentric nature of Puscifer. I think a lot of people respond to Conditions of My Parole because it has more songs on it. But I think Existential Reckoning has like the more landscape, cinematic approach that I think is more the core of what Puscifer is.
How difficult is it to actually marry these two things, the production part of it and the songwriting? I mean, the songwriting thing is like you write the songs that you write for a particular thing, but capturing it in a certain way that the songs are really elevated by the recording. That's the difficult thing.
It's not easy. I mean, it's in many cases you fall short. There's albums that I've gone back to listen to that because I want to like. I think it's the big Mars Volta album that you really it was like Mars Volta, but sonically it's just horrendous. It hurts your ears. It's compressed to shit. Mm-hmm. The energy on the album and the way that they're all playing together, his voice is just so incredible, and the playing, of course. But it's because they're so punk rock and they wanted to record it all together in one fucking room. It just hurts your brain because it's so compressed and you can't listen to more than 1.5 songs. It starts to really wear on you. And then if you put that on iTunes where it's compressed even more, it just makes you crazy. You have to listen to it on vinyl, which, I don't carry a fucking turntable around with me, so I'm not going to do that. But that's the one that, that thing bums me out because I know that what's happening in that room when they were doing it was, transcendent. And for Rick pulling his hair out, probably trying to get them to separate and, make it work sonically, I'm sure he had a way bigger puzzle than he could ever solve.
I'd like to take a second to talk to you about this channel. This is actually Rick Beato 2. I've had it since the beginning of my main channel, and many of you are not subscribed. As a matter of fact, 87% of the people that watch this channel regularly are not subscribed. So I encourage you to hit the subscribe button on this channel and on my main channel. This will help me get even more of my dream guests and help continue to grow both channels. Thank you.
Is this something that you're kind of aware of, or do you ever start songs over because you're like, yeah, it's not the right direction, we don't have the right sounds on it?
Yeah, early Puscifer songs, I definitely, Matt and I, like I said, we have a folder of that wasn't working and had to walk away from it and come back, trying to write lyrics and melodies to Mama Said, I almost completely abandoned that song. It just wasn't going the direction I was wanting it to go. Literally, like, threw a fucking actual roast tantrum in a fucking studio. Matt's like, that's not like you. And like, just wanted to abandon it. And then I think it was him who went, hang on, I'm gonna move this note. He literally moved one note to make it make sense. And went, oh, there it is.
One melody note. Right?
One melody note fixed it. I was ready to walk away. I could not find my way through it. It's the most frustrating song ever. Originally, it was a piece that I was working on with Timmy C and Brad Wilk, and the way that they put it together was that was a version, but like I was doing a completely different version of that song, and the way that I went that direction, I couldn't. There was that one corner note that was fucking me up. I couldn't puzzle it out until Matt went, bink.
Do you write all your lyrics out, or you type them?
I used to write them, but then I found that I was changing them so much that I had to type them instead, because then it was just scribbles, and then I would lose my way. So even if I did write them down, I would type them out because I need to see them as I'm trying to track them.
So do you have all your new lyrics on your phone?
Uh-huh.
Do you dictate them when you have a line?
No, I'll stop and type it out.
The Violator mixes that you've done, tell me about that. What about
the remixes?
Yeah, the remixes.
Yeah, the flexibility that we have with the song, we have that core idea, and we just kind of go down that rabbit hole of that core idea. But there's infinite possibilities. There's, it's almost, like the whole completely tired, played out multiverse concept in the Marvel comics. God bless them. But I feel like that's similar with some of these songs. You can come up with a whole different universe with those core ideas. And I feel like we can, and we're flexible enough to do it. And also, handing it off to somebody else to kind of reinterpret it and bring it back is always a fun project. Whether it's you or whether it's somebody else. And I already have, even on the songs we're finishing now, I already have an idea on some of them how I would approach them as a rework, just based on some of the core cornerstone pieces in it that they went that way, but they could just as easily go this way.